Welcome to Resting Binge Face, where two friends binge watch seasons of spooky shows, and we talk about it. I'm Adam McCoy.
And I'm Amanda Kathleen. Adam and I work in TV. We watch a lot of TV. If we were in a cabin in the woods, we would accidentally open up a portal to TV.
We got sucked into the TV. Oh, no.
Like Poltergeist,
Yeah.
sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But
or all the characters would...
We just never close the book, though, because that's
Right.
awesome. You're in TV.
Or just be stuck in TV, like a Twilight Zone episode. That leads us into what we're watching this week. Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 1.
Not the only season.
Not the only season? No, not the only season.
3 seasons.
Yes, they were 3 seasons, and then they got canceled.
Mm-hmm, yep.
So, caveat, I have never seen Evil Dead. You are an avid fan of Evil Dead.
Correct. I am.
So, I had to watch Evil Dead, but I chose to watch Evil Dead 2.
After watching, yes, that's really the only one you need to watch.
Right.
You would get more if you watched other ones, but...
Correct. This is what I've been told. But I wanted to get the feel of it because there is some, like, insider jokes into the show.
Maybe you shouldn't have seen it at all, any of the other ones, just to see what your reaction would be. Because that's one thing I read about was they had to find a way to appeal to people who had never seen the show, like the movies.
Right.
Like, how are they going to
there's
do
not
it in a
too
way?
much in there. Like, it's just a little here and there. But it wasn't like
No.
I had to see the movie to
But
see
if
the
they
show.
hadn't, if they hadn't made any of the movies and this show came out,
Right.
I don't think it would have made it 3 seasons.
No.
Definitely made it because of the fan
fans.
base. Yeah.
So that leads us into some knowledge to drop, Adam.
Yes. It's going to be hard to differentiate between the knowledge of just the TV show and the whole movie world in general.
Right.
Most of the stuff's about the movies just because it all goes hand in hand.
They're technically all the same thing.
Yeah, made by the same people. So Ash vs. the Evil Dead, American comedy, horror, television series. It's developed by Sam Raimi, Ivan Raimi, brothers.
Yep.
Ted Raimi plays parts. He also does some stuff. But the three of them do a lot of the stuff together. It was made for Starz television channel. It actually originally was going to be a 4th movie in the series.
Oh, okay.
So Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi, for the past 10 years, had written 2 versions of a 4th movie.
Okay.
Because you've never seen Army of Darkness.
Correct.
But it has,
I know the concept of it from the Evil Dead 2.
It has 2 endings.
Right.
So one ending, spoiler alert, end of Evil Dead 2, he goes back in time.
He goes back in time.
End of Army of Darkness.
He comes back.
One of them, he comes back. The other one, he goes 200 years in the future.
Oh.
To a post-apocalyptic world.
That would have been fantastic.
That was the original ending. The studio was it's too depressing.
What?
I know. So they couldn't plan out, they didn't know which movie to make.
Right.
So they kind of had this dual movie script going on. And they're like, well, we'll just have to make a movie with 2 different Ashes in it on 2 different timelines. It was going to be way too cost prohibitive.
Right.
So it never went anywhere. Finally, they were like, well, maybe you could put it for a TV show. Stars worked out fine because they didn't have to worry about a movie rating.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't worry about commercial breaks. They, so it was really the best thing for them. They even said so right away. It was better than a movie, and it worked out great for them. It does pick up where the other movies leave off.
Right.
That way. It premiered October 31st, 2015, and 3 days before it actually premiered, Starz already renewed it for a 2nd season.
Oh, wow.
Then they renewed it for a 3rd season, and then they didn't renew it for a 4th season. So it's gone.
It's gone.
The franchise, Bruce Campbell's come out and said, look, Ash, I'm done with Ash. But Sam Raimi, in the past week,
oh, really?
I said they're working on making another Evil Dead movie.
Oh.
But they also remade Evil Dead, if you remember, in 2013 with a totally different cast.
Oh, no.
So I know it kind of went under the radar. I've never seen that. I'm a huge fan.
And you've never seen it?
But I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
Okay.
It seemed...
There's no Bruce Campbell.
It was no
you
Bruce
don't
Campbell.
Watch it.
It wasn't directed by Sam Raimi.
Oh, okay.
He was kind of involved with it.
Uh-huh.
Didn't get the best reviews. And from what I read recently...
Oh, I think I remember.
Yes, it had the girl from Suburgatory was the main lead.
Isn't it supposed to be scarier?
A little more gory. Well, I mean, I don't know. It can't be gorier than the original, but
right.
It's just more like the modern day horror movies.
Okay,
I'm not a big fan of.
Right.
Per
Me
se.
neither.
So from what I've read, he's handpicked the director. I don't think he was really pleased with the last one. So this may be just a continuation of the new version. I don't think
maybe
Bruce
it'd be
Campbell's
like Evil
gonna...
Dead 2 or it's not.
Yeah.
Or it is, but it's not.
Kind of is, but it isn't.
Right.
So there's hope for that.
Okay.
And then I got a bunch of facts about Evil Dead, but we probably don't have time for that. One interesting fact is...
Give me a fact.
It was not the original name. They had several names.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was Book of the Dead. But my favorite alternative name was These Bitches Are Witches.
Oh.
That
should be a show.
Isn't that hilarious? Yeah, that was one of the names that they did not go with. But Stephen King, when he saw the original 1981 Evil Dead, was blown away with it. He actually wrote a review for Twilight Zone magazine talking about how much he loved it.
Oh, really?
And then he was a big part of why the sequel was made.
Oh.
Peter Jackson has said that Evil Dead is one of his biggest influences.
Yeah, there's a lot of big time directors out there that love Evil Dead.
Well, because I think a lot of them are around the same age, and Peter Jackson's point was, look, these kids my age made this movie with a 16mm camera.
Yeah.
I can get one of those. He goes, I can do this, and it kind of pushed him along.
Yeah.
It actually the original one got an X rating in the UK.
Oh, dang.
When it played. And it was really considered over the top.
Oh,
even in America. Like, this goes too far. And they were all realistic effects. So the first one is pretty...
Yeah.
Even the second one.
But in today's standards, it's like...
Comparatively, it's not as bad as the stuff you see now. But at the time, X rating, and then NC-17 I got at one point. They had to keep taking it back. The last fact that I thought was interesting was apparently Sam Raimi lived in a house in Los Angeles. One of the characters from Evil Dead was based on Holly Hunter, the actress.
Oh, okay.
Who lived in the same Silver Lake house with Sam Raimi, Joel Cohen,
really,
Kathy Bates, and Frances McDormand. And Joel Cohen was an assistant editor on the original Evil Dead.
That's so wild.
So there's a group of them kind of all,
That's
played
crazy.
off each other. So interesting time.
Yeah. Interesting time, that 80s.
Yeah. So that's just some of the facts about it.
Those are just some things.
Oh, and then Lucy Lawless is in this series.
She is.
Which everyone should know that Sam Raimi did Hercules and Xena, which is Lucy Lawless.
Correct.
So.
Which I didn't know, but you told me earlier.
Yeah. Good old syndicated action shows.
Actually, you didn't tell me that. My friend Dan told me that. And then he told me he thinks they also did Young Hercules, which is my favorite of the three.
Maybe they did.
I think it is, because it's a continuation of the whole Ryan Gosling.
Well, yeah, of course. How can you not love those?
How can you not love it? I think it is, because it's like a continuation of all those, that style of action.
Well, definitely he probably had a part in it, because he created the whole universe.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, and also lastly, the 73 Oldsmobile Delta 88 that he drives is in every Sam Raimi project he's ever done.
Because he just loves that car.
That was the original car they had when they were teenagers making these movies. And now he puts it in everything. So A Simple Plan, Spider-Man, all these things, Darkman that he's done. There's been a Delta 88 in the movie or show.
Shout out to that car.
I just love this series.
I'm just really like that. That brings us into spoiler alert, because we're going to get ready to talk about the show. If you haven't seen it, you can watch the show on Netflix. Has all 3 seasons. Or Stars, which is where it originated. Overview of Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 1. You tell me if I did it correctly, okay, Adam?
Okay.
Set 30 years after Evil Dead, Ash Williams lives a vigorous life of working at Value Stop and living in a trailer where he likes to party with ladies. He drunkenly reads from the Book of the Dead to impress said lady, and in doing so, unleashes the evil dead upon the world once again. So now he must fix it. Pretty much the basis of the show. That's pretty much,
yeah. With a ragtag group of folks by his side.
Yeah, he's just picking them up like flies.
It's such a funny concept, but he's such a loser, and that's how he
is such a loser.
He wakes them all up again because he's trying to get laid.
Right. I mean, I will say Evil Dead is not, you don't have to be real smart to watch any of this. It's very straightforward. Even the movie, the show, very straightforward concept.
It's not highbrow.
Yeah,
that's why I love it so much.
Ash brought demons into the world. Now he's got to fix it. That's the premise of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too complicated. Bruce Campbell is amazing.
As he always is.
As Ash Williams. And then his sidekick is Pablo, who also works at Value Stop.
Yes. He's kind of obsessed.
He idolizes
Yes, he's idolizes Ash.
Yeah. And then Kelly also works at Value Stop with them, is just abruptly thrown into the mix. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really care to be there.
She's a friend of Pablo's.
Right.
And then she gets a job there, and so.
Right. And so now she's a part of the crew. And then random side characters come in, like Amanda, the Michigan State trooper.
Yeah.
Who is in the pilot episode, her partner gets killed.
He gets possessed. She has to kill him. Mm-hmm. And then that starts her off to find Ash. And then Lucy Lawless, who is Ruby, which come to find out later, she's actually like a demon or a deadite of some kind. Yeah. She's trying to get the power, restore power.
Right. She's the one that technically wrote the Book of the Dead.
Restore power, you will.
How does this compare to the movie, Adam?
Well, it's definitely a combination of all of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, Army of Darkness got a much more campy than Evil Dead.
Right.
And so this one definitely plays off of that.
It's very campy. Somebody get this show a tent because it's going camping.
And I'm not hating it for that.
No. That's probably the best part about it.
It is
the campiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a full-out gore horror.
Right.
It wouldn't make it.
Right.
And that kind of helped the two kind of work together well, I think.
I can't picture Bruce Campbell serious.
No. He tried for a while.
Right.
But even he had a series in the 90s called Briscoe County Jr. Do you remember this series on Fox?
No.
He was a campy cowboy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, it was an Old West on Fox. Look it up because I enjoyed that too. But no, I think it plays very well into the universe. Mm-hmm. It is kind of even the movies themselves are not kind of cohesive together.
Right.
And there's some alterations in the way that the flow and the way Ash acts. Mm-hmm. He's kind of an ass in Army of Darkness.
Right.
More so than he is in Evil Dead. And this kind of plays into that a little more. Mm-hmm. But I think it works very well. And I like the format, the half an hour format.
Yeah, that's nice.
You get some jokes, you get a little bit of action, and then you move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel drawn out.
No, not at all.
And just the little side plots when they go to visit Pablo's uncle, and the different locations.
Yes,
I thought it worked well.
Mm-hmm. It does. The little 30-minute, like if it was 45 minutes, it's like just make a horror film. Like
yeah.
Why?
That's why I thought it was weird when they originally read that he was like it was going to cost too much to make a movie. I'm like, but you're really making.
You're making like more than a movie.
2.5 movies.
Yeah.
Here. But I guess the quality doesn't have to be there for a TV show.
Maybe not.
The special effects and everything I think it looked
pretty good. Yeah. It still had a little cheesy.
I mean,
cheesy gore.
The one thing it had that none of the other ones had was the CGI. I mean, it did have a lot of like the bloody CGI. You could tell that the original ones were all like
practical
effects. But no, I think it played well into the universe. I think it was anyone who's a fan of the movies. I think is a fan of the show.
Right.
And I haven't finished the third season. I started watching the second season already after watching it, so I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it? I like the story overall, and I like Bruce Campbell's Ash. I'm not too keen on some of the acting from some of the actors. I think the only person that needs to be like real, like campy, is Bruce Campbell, and then everyone else, I feel like their acting should have been a little better.
Yeah.
Like it's a little, sometimes it's a little too hard to watch, like especially like the state trooper, like her.
She's not a good actress.
It's not good.
I've seen her in something before. I can't remember what it is, but to me that was the weakest point.
Even like some of like Lucy Lawless's stuff, I was just like, like it's not like they don't all have to be campy.
No.
Just Ash. Like he's the only one that needs to be campy,
Well, and then Pablo's character, he was not that campy. He was just kind of spastic, which I think he did a good job.
I liked his.
I think their relationship
he was my second
and their
favorite,
play off of each other worked really well.
I really didn't like Kelly all that much either. I was just like, okay.
Maybe it's because it was written by guys. Maybe they just, I don't know. But it does seem like the state trooper by far was the worst, I think.
Oh man, it was like when she was on, I was like, oh god.
The woman they bring in at the end, I think she did a good job, and they killed her off.
Oh, the
blonde,
campers,
the camper, yeah,
like the hikers in the woods, yeah.
I think I didn't know how far it was going to go with her.
Well, she's a good actress. I've seen her in some things.
Yeah, and maybe that's it. Maybe this goes down to acting.
Maybe
because I thought her part was really good. I thought
she was really good. Yeah,
she should have played the other character. I think would have been better.
Possibly, yes. Yeah. like that part was a little to me, and then like it's probably my max on gore. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna see how
like going watching it for the first half, like it's okay, but then once you get to the cabin and like
and it's
shit goes real, like.
Well, how did you feel about
a lot.
the movie?
The movie was fine.
People did too.
The movie's fine.
So was it more gory? I'm trying to remember if it was.
I think the show's much more gorier than the movie.
Yeah, well, plus it is like a lot more CGI, heads blowing up and blood. Like I think there's something about practical effects that you see.
Like Pablo like hawking up like a deadite, like a child.
Oh yeah, when he got turned.
Like that was like way too much. Like I was like, oh, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was. That was pretty intense.
That was, yeah.
The little child demons were kind of interesting, though. That was.
I mean, all they did was run around and scream. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They were just like. Meow.
But Ash's interaction was pretty funny with the.
Oh yeah, 100%.
His interaction with everything.
I mean, he carries the show. Mm-hmm. Can we be honest? Like he is the show.
And we'll stop and get you a churro, Pablo.
He's like, I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I agree. It could be. I was thinking about somebody who's not a big horror and I'm definitely not a gore violence.
Right.
I'll say a violent gore horror fan. Like I liked Evil Dead, but it's and something about the 80s, even early 90s.
Yeah.
Gore versus now, it's just there's just so much blood and it gets a little more intense and
it's like they want to one up each other.
Yeah.
On the intensity of the films. I'm not like that's not my bag. I like more of a thriller. Or like a slasher, like I'm just gonna stab you a bunch of times.
Okay.
Like that's me. Like my favorite one is Scream. Like that's my favorite horror movie.
It's a good mix.
Like this is like my ultimate like.
Like all right,
I'm maxed out. I'm like all right, and then you asked me if I was gonna watch the second season. I was like I'm good. I am maxed out on gore. I'm okay if I don't finish it.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone, but it is. I say give it a try. If you don't like gore, like hostile type stuff, give this a try. If it's too much,
I think that's the one. The people who don't like that, there's so much of the show that's not that's good.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And it is kind of sad. Like my wife hates. She would never in her life watch a show like this.
Right.
But I think she would enjoy the other. Like the kind of whimsical part of it, but then just a head explodes or he hacks up.
I can deal with the head exploding. It's like
you don't have to like them all.
I don't have to like them all.
So you would love Briscoe County Jr. because this without the gore.
It's just got about Bruce Campbell. Yeah. That's it.
Being cheesy. I would say so. Pet peeve wise, did you have any pet peeves besides the amount of gore?
Oh, the acting was the worst for me.
It was definitely the state trooper just pulled me out of it every time.
Like it's not good, and I know that Sam Raimi didn't direct all of them. Like I know this. So I think Pablo and Ash are probably the best two out of all the characters. And I hate to say like Lucy Lawless, like I don't like her character. Like I don't like she's not utilized correctly.
It seemed it's so away from the norm of the series.
Right.
There's never been just like that collected of an individual. Like if they were the Deadites, they were a Deadite, not somebody who's talking and trying to reason. It's just I think it's a weird character to begin with. I wasn't a big fan of the character as a whole,
right?
And so I can see that, and that definitely the state trooper took me out of it the most, and I think that was my biggest pet peeve.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the acting was like I could deal with the gore more than I could deal with some of the acting in the scenes.
Well, even the side characters, like the one who played her partner, was not great.
No.
And the guy who played the manager of the.
Oh yeah, no. Like I don't know.
Besides Mimi Rogers, who played the mom.
Yeah.
Mrs. Tom Cruise, the original Mrs. Tom Cruise.
The original Mrs. Tom Cruise.
But yeah, I think it does kind of harken back to his old movies though, because they weren't all actors in his movies, so there was some cheesy acting.
I mean, maybe he's okay with that.
Yeah, it just makes Bruce shine even more. Why don't you hire some bad actors
shining star
to make me look better?
Maybe Bruce Campbell put that in his contract.
He said he can't watch the originals anymore. Like at least the first half of the first one, he's like, I'm so bad. I'm such a horrible actor. He goes, the only time it really kicks in is about halfway through when shooting actually became torturous and it was annoying to shoot. Then it became real because he really was annoyed with everything and struggling so much. But he says, I can't watch the first ones anymore.
I mean, like, if you watch the first two, I guess, he's a very handsome young man. Like, yeah. I was very surprised, like, that he's not a bigger actor. Like, you know, like, well, he's more of like a.
He's the character. He's a character actor. He's like a character actor with a bigger presence, I guess. Yeah. He owned that at one point. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he kind of never got besides Evil Dead. Right. Burn Notice. That's the only other one he never really got that big, pull. But he's doing okay. He's fine. He's got I mean, you won't hardly find a bigger person at a Comic-Con than Bruce Campbell. Like, they go crazy. And he's done 2 or 3 like very specific, unique niche, like weird sci-fi movies that that make money because of people like that. Because he's in it, yeah. Yeah. I Am Bruce Campbell was one where he played a parody of himself. Oh, really? When something goes down, people come to him because he's been in these Evil Dead movies. And he has to help stave off the apocalypse. That's hilarious. Yeah. He knows what to do. Mm-hmm. He knows where his bread is buttered. I do kind of wish the story had a little more oomph to it. I mean, I know we talked about how easy it is just to come into it, but I felt like it was a little too simple. Well, yeah. For a show, I guess. You have to explain, and that's like, we're going to shoot this little quick recap of what happened, and here we are. Right. It could have done with more setup. Yeah, just a little bit. Like, I like the pilot. It's probably one of my favorites, but like it immediately starts like the book is open. Yeah. You know, it's like immediately. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't get like a pilot just to like let us know what's going on, who these people are, and then. But don't you like it that way? The second episode, you're just going. You just start into it. I mean, part of me likes it, and part of me wishes I had a little more. That's why I said a little more. Maybe. I had no problem with it because I'd seen all the other ones and it sets it up. So you're just ready for it. I think it's also because people have been waiting for 15 years. Right. So it's like, let's go. Let's do this. And yeah, I love the way they play him now that he's just the hapless, guy who still can't get out of his dead-end job. I do want to say that trailer they created the set for is gigantic. Oh, yeah. It's huge. It's the Lethal Weapon thing with where Mel Gibson lived in that trailer on the beach, and then you walk in, it's like, holy crap. Right. It's not this big inside. I was like, this is gigantic. I've been in little trailers. They're not like that. I'm like, this is an Airstream, right? This is not that big. I mean, like, I get they have to film in it, but they could have done it like a little more cramped quarters. Just a little bit. Now I'm nitpicking. Just a little bit. No, that's a staple in cinema. Right. They're like, yeah, we're gonna go in this little tiny spot. Look how massive it is. It's so big. Do you remember the movie, the parody movie Loaded Weapon? Yes, with Charlie Sheen. Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss. Nope. Sam Jackson. It was called Loaded Weapon. It was essentially a parody. I'm thinking of Charlie Sheen. You're thinking of a different one. This is a parody of Lethal Weapon. Right. And but it wasn't Charlie Sheen in it? No, I'm pretty sure it was Emilio Estevez. No, I think it was Charlie Sheen. Oh, fact check us. I'm gonna Google it while I talk now. Because they make that joke. Yeah, he goes into the little trailer and it's a mansion. There's pillars. Yeah. And he's walking. Yeah, so it is definitely a staple in cinema. Oh, it is Emilio. Emilio. See, all right. You're right. Let's keep my cred. I feel like Emilio and Charlie have done the same movie over and over again. You're thinking of Hot Shots. I think maybe. You're combining Hot Shots, but it's very similar concepts. But isn't there one with Charlie Sheen and Richard Dreyfuss and they're spies or something? No, that's Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss. Oh, dang. And Rosie O'Donnell plays in that one. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just mixing them together. Well, they're brothers, so it's easy to do. Remember that one where they're both in it, Working Men? Oh, that's a great one, yeah. See, I got that one. The Trash Men. Yep. They're both in that one.
So
if only Estevez was in this, it'd be great.
Amelia.
Did you have any favorite episodes?
The pilot I liked, and then I actually liked the cabin episodes, like the last 3 where they actually get to the cabin and they have to like, fix everything.
Yeah.
Even though it's like a lot of gore, I do like it. I do like those better because I feel like it moves a little. There's a little more happening. A little more story.
I agree. I think the cabin ones there's a lot there to grasp onto, and they definitely feel more like the Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Of old. Other than that, I mean, they all really do just blend together.
They do.
And I did like Pablo's uncle character. They're not my favorite episodes.
But like he's not like it would have been better if he was like alive still. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like here he is. Bye.
Now he's dead.
Now he did.
So what about your bingeability?
Bingeability, I'm gonna have to say like 3 for gore.
Okay.
And acting.
And acting.
Like I'd watch a couple and I'd be like, okay, I'm good.
Done. Well, it's a first for me. I'm giving it a 5.
Oh.
My first ever 5.
I don't know. You've given a 5 to Game of Thrones.
Well, we didn't count that. I tried to get you to rate them and you said no, we shouldn't rank it.
Well, in your personal opinion, you give Game of Thrones 5, so this is your second one.
Okay.
That you've given a 5 to, which I'm very surprised you liked it that much, but you like Evil Dead, so I don't know.
Well, plus it checks all the boxes. It's only a half an hour.
It's only half an
hour. Had they
hour.
each been an hour long and there were 10 episodes,
it.
I wouldn't have given it a 5. Because it was, but I did feel like I was ready to watch the next one.
Right.
Ready to watch the next one. And I did watch them all at one time. Like one.
Ooh, you don't ever do that.
I know. I watched them all the way through. So definitely a 5 in my book.
You gave me 3 days, and I was like, I took the 3 days. I was like, okay. Normally I'll binge it like real quick. But you gave me 3 days. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
I'm like, it doesn't take that long. It took me a day, a quarter of a day.
I was like, literally, I could have finished it in 2 days, but I was like, I'll watch the last one tomorrow. I don't need to watch
And
this.
I know I felt during Riverdale.
No, that's not the same.
Totally.
It's not the same.
All right, well, I've got a quick Stump Amanda question for you here. If you were caught in a world where you had to fight evil forces, and you had to pick 2 of your sidekicks to bring with you.
Okay.
In the fictional world.
Okay.
Who would you pick?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick Ash because he can put a chainsaw on his hand.
I should say, let's not pick Ash.
Okay.
Because you're Ash in the situation.
I'm Ash in the situation.
Yeah.
So I can put a chainsaw on my hand?
Sure.
Okay.
But you got to cut it off first.
And these are fictional besties that come with me to fight. I think I'm going to go back to Game of Thrones and pick Jon Snow.
Okay.
Because he knows how to kill White Walkers, which is very similar.
Yeah, similar.
To Deadites. So
a little slower.
A little slower.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, no, they might be about the same.
Yeah.
So I would pick him.
Good choice.
And then I'll move away from Game of Thrones because I could pick like everybody.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I would pick Shaun from Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Because he could get it.
Okay.
He knows what to do. He's got a cricket bat.
Perfect.
He can help out also.
Yeah.
So notice I picked 2 guys.
Yeah.
And not 2 ladies.
See.
I could pick Lucy Lawless as a.
Or Xena.
Xena.
Pick her as Xena.
I could.
Well.
She would be a good option.
She would be.
Actually, throw Shaun away. I'll pick Xena.
Okay.
And Jon Snow.
Okay.
And then I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I went with a man and a woman.
Okay.
I'm picking Arya Stark from Game of Thrones.
Ooh, she'd be a good one.
Because she killed the Night King.
Yeah, she did do that.
And then I'm going to pick Ron Swanson as my
but
second.
Why?
He can do anything. You go anywhere.
Oh, he can help you camp.
He's going to find,
Got it.
He's going to make shift a weapon for you. Yeah, he's going to get it all done.
Whatever you need.
Your car won't start. He's got it.
He's got you.
He's going to distill some bourbon in the back while we're waiting. There we go. So Arya, Ron Swanson, and me.
I feel like you won this.
I do too.
It's the Ron Swanson. Yeah. Although Xena would be very good also.
She would be. They're dating in Parks and Rec world.
They're dating.
Yeah.
So we just split them up.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Shaun.
He wouldn't be effective unless he's in London.
Right.
Wherever he's at.
Wherever he's.
Not in America.
Not in my America. Get that cricket bat out of here. So what are we watching next week for our last Halloween special?
Next week, we're watching Los Espookys.
Los Espookys on HBO.
All in Spanish.
All in Spanish.
Not all in Spanish.
Half
From
and
the trailer, some of it's in English.
I feel like it's a lot of Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of English.
Is this like the movie that Will Ferrell made where it was all in Spanish? But it was all American actors playing when they all did Spanish?
Maybe. Fred Armisen is executive producer on it.
Okay. Because it's not... Is it made for HBO?
It's made for HBO, but I know the guy...
Not for HBO Latino or the Espanol version? Okay.
Just HBO.
Just HBO, okay.
But I know the main character, I think he's a comedian.
Yeah, I've seen
he has some HBO specials or something.
Yeah, it looks very... It's only 6 episodes.
Only 6 episodes.
And it's another weird kind of like a... I think it's Twilight Zone-esque. I think each episode's a little different.
Yeah, it's also supposed to be a little funny.
Yeah.
So I've heard good things about it. I've heard like...
So we didn't watch any like... We're not watching any super just
We didn't
horror.
watch horror. It might have scared Amanda too much.
So yeah,
I mean, Ash vs. Evil Dead is pretty good. We don't know what Los Espookys is going to give us.
I mean, it's got Fred Armisen. It can't be too spooky.
It might be real spooky.
Could be. Maybe
with a side of funny.
Yeah.
I've heard that, a lot of people say they were surprised by watching it. Like,
okay.
They didn't know going into it, and then after they watched it, they were like, this is my favorite show. Yeah. So we'll take a chance. And we're also going to, it's like Day of the Dead type,
Yeah.
After Halloween, you have Day of the Dead. So it's like a Halloween / Day of the Dead episode. Dia de los Muertes.
There you go.
I lived in Miami for 3 years.
See. So you should definitely watch Burn Notice.
They shot it when I was down there in college. They were shooting Burn Notice. It was okay. I've never seen it. Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to tell us that we're wussies and we need to watch a scarier show, you could do that. Leave us a comment.
Like Two Broke Girls.
That's not scary.
That's to me.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you bitches next week.
Bye.
Bye.